Hello and welcome to Brodual. Today we have a new series that we like to call Hidden Gems, where we cover some of the mods that might have slipped under your radar. All of the mods featured in this series have never hit the hot files on Nexus, but we feel they're up to the same standard as those that do. So let's start off today's episode with Dwemer exploding traps, bombs and arrows. And let's start off with the traps. They come in 4 variants: fire, ice, lightning and poison. And each variant has 3 different types: normal, superior and deadly, with deadly dealing the most damage. To activate a trap you just need to drop it on the floor and then wait a few seconds for it to lock in place. It's then mostly just a waiting game until some unsuspecting victim steps on it. The traps are very easy to use and very effective when they're set off. The explosive arrows are very similar to the traps, but obviously give more of an immediate effect. And again they come in 4 variants: fire, ice, lightning and poison. They all have the same effect as the traps, but this time you get to choose when they're set off. The arrows and the traps can both be crafted at a forge after you obtain the Ancient Knowledge spell from a quest. There's also some other restrictions before you can craft, but we'll put those on screen. If you'd prefer not to craft them, you can also buy them from the Thieves Guild merchant, or you can hunt for the items by killing Dwemer automatons. The portable teleports are slightly complicated to start with. First you need to find the dormant teleportation devices scattered throughout Blackreach. There's 6 in total, but you only need 2 to teleport. But the more you have, the easier it is. Once you find a dormant device, you need to find a type of resonance crystal which will be used to bring the portal back to life. You then need to combine the dormant portal with a crystal to get a coloured portal. Once you have 2 coloured portals, you can drop them in different parts of the world. The best way to explain how they work is to just show you an example. First you'll need to gather a whole bunch of crystals from Dwemer creatures. And then if you have a yellow portal in one place and you want to go to a blue portal in another, you need to put a blue crystal inside of the yellow portal and then click the button. If you wanted to go to a green portal, you need to put in a green crystal, and so on. And altogether we can see why people might have stayed away from the mod. It is slightly complicated to actually get things started, but after playing around with the traps, arrows and portals, we think it's definitely worth checking out for yourselves.
The second mod of the video is Realistic Room Rental Enhanced. The mod aims to change the way renting works in game to make it a more customizable and useful feature. The first change that the mod makes is the increase in room prices. Depending on where you are, you'll have to pay between 50 and 200 gold compared to the standard 10 gold in the vanilla game. Another feature is the ability to rent a room for 3 days at a time, or even indefinitely. To rent a room indefinitely, you'll have to put down 3 days worth of rent as a deposit, and every 24 hours the price of your room will be taken from your funds until you either cancel your arrangement or you run out of money. If you miss rent for 3 days in a row and your 3-day deposit is used up, your room won't belong to you anymore. Future plans include meals being served to you in your room and the addition of general traders in some of the more remote inns to give you a way to resupply. Renting rooms in Skyrim is something that most people won't even usually bother with, as the vanilla system is so useless, and this mod definitely changes that.
And now we have Subjugation, a mod that lets you bring multiple friends or foes under your control. The new spell can be found on the Mages table in Dragonreach, and as long as you have enough magicka to cast a master level spell, you can start bringing people under your control. Once someone is under your control, they'll pretty much act like a follower until you decide to release them. You can control them by speaking to them to open the Subjugation menu. From the menu you have a bunch of self-explanatory choices. If you have more than one follower, you can talk to any of them and select group to control the entire group of followers. You can also use a new spell in your inventory to control your group or individual NPCs from a distance, so it's pretty much a remote control for your followers. You can control up to 15 different followers at a time, and they can be any NPC with a strong enough mind to be controlled, which includes all playable races and Draugr. And overall the mod does a great job of what it sets out to do, so if this is something that interests you then it's definitely worth trying out.
And the fourth mod for today is Amberstone Weaponry, a weapon collection that hasn't really gotten the attention it deserves. The mod adds more than 15 new weapons for you to choose between that all follow the same fire theme. The collection can be found under the glass category of your smithing list, and everything is enchanted with the same fire effect. The range of weapons here is what makes this mod great. You have everything from a greatsword to a scythe and even a spear. All of the textures are based around the glass weapons but have their own custom silver and red colour schemes, which means they fit in well with a vanilla game. It's a great mod that gives you an amazing amount of choice.
And for today's final hidden gem we have Hunter Traps. Similar to the Dwemer Traps mod, Hunter Traps adds a variety of different traps to the game, but this time they're slightly more simple and designed for a hunter. You can craft up to 6 versions of the traps at any forge under different categories. There's iron, steel, dwarven, orcish and ebony, and they all have a poison variant. Setting up the trap is extremely simple, you just need to drop the trap wherever you want it to be. Once the trap's on the floor you can either activate, deactivate or pick it back up. The damage they deal, even the more powerful ones, isn't anywhere near the amount dealt by the Dwemer traps, so you won't be killing any humans or tougher creatures with these. But they'll take out most creatures that you'd hunt in the wild, like deer, wolves, rabbits, and others. So if you're a fan of the more simple mods, then this is definitely the one to choose if you just want the traps. And that's the end of today's Hidden Gems. Finding mods for this series isn't going to be easy, so if you found or made a mod that you think deserves a little more attention, then let us know down below, and we'll be sure to include a few in the next episode. And thanks for watching.